What's going on, everyone? So, David Jones Garcia. Talked about him before. Talk about him again. The dude is balling out in the California Classic of Summer League. I'm really excited to see him in Las Vegas Summer League and see what he ends up doing and if he can kind of continue what we saw with the San Antonio Spurs in the California Classic. Last two games of that, he put up 25 points per game in between 46 G League outings between Mexico City and Salt Lake City. He averaged 21.3 points, 7.1 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals in basically 30 minutes per game, 29.9 minutes per game. So a guy that rebounds excellent, and he's been rebounding the ball very well during the Summer League too, which is very important. The guy has been balling out. The guy is showing you everything that you could ask for and then some for a team, young Spurs team. David Garcia himself is a young player as well that really could kind of find his footing in this young core and foundation. Talk about, a 6'4", 6'5", versatile kind of two-guard, small forward that can slot in, score the basketball, rebound the basketball. He's got a really good nose and feel for the basketball, which is what you like to see, right? He's athletic. He can go and chase down those loose balls. He's aggressive in trying to get those and kind of hunt those rebounds down. He's showing all of the things that you want to see. 23 years old, right? So plenty of room for growth, upside, and potential. He is playing his way onto the main roster, is what we saw. Again, you need to see that continue into Las Vegas, and then if that continues into Las Vegas, I do expect him to get a training camp invite, and I think bare minimum he's on a two-way. But there may end up being an argument to bring him onto the main roster. I really think that will depend on, though, like the main roster, on what they do with a guy like Devin Vassell, right? Do the Spurs kind of keep Vassell, or do they look to move him, especially if Garcia continues to basically display the things that we've seen him do going forward? Because he can kind of give you a lot of that. And it's not that I think Garcia is better than Vassell and all that stuff. Like, no, we don't know what Garcia will do in the actual NBA. There's a lot of guys that have just been clearly too good for the G League, clearly better than everybody in Summer League, and they get to the NBA level and, they're into the bench guys or out of the league in a year or two. And there's a lot of guys that have had incredible runs and performances, and guys averaging, 40 in G League and all that stuff, and just never able to translate to the NBA. So, but the reason I specifically single out Devin Vassell is because, how many more of the Garcia type of players you need, right? You already have, De'Aaron Fox, right? I know he's a point guard, but guys that are going to score the basketball, that are going to have the ball in their hands, right? Garcia's best as that guy coming off the bench, just being that bucket getter, right? Being a scoring guard, right? Like, he's a guy that you want kind of in that like Lou Williams type role, where it's like, hey, you give him the basketball, get out of his way, and just let him cook. He's going to rebound the basketball well. He's going to shoot the basketball well. He's going to go, he's going to give you 15 off the bench, right? That type of player, that type of role. But it's, again, you have a De'Aaron Fox, you have a Stephon Castle, you have a Dylan Harper, you have, Devin Vassell, right? Like, you're probably going to need to get off of one of those guys. I mean, even without Garcia, you're probably going to need to get off of one of those guys regardless. And it's like, okay, well, who's the guy most likely to be gone? And it's Devin Vassell. But again, if Garcia can kind of continue to show what he's been showing, right, then he could kind of fill that gap. He kind of fill that role. So, you kind of send Vassell out, get a piece or two that you kind of need, whether it's a foundation piece or a veteran piece or whatever, get a piece or two that you need to kind of help, with the roster and the team. And then now you have a guy in a Garcia that can come off the bench. One would be cheaper. Two, if he can hold up the rebounding, would be the better rebounder too. Right? Be that hustle play guy, be that defensive piece, right? So to me, I look at a guy like Garcia as he could be your kind of Vassell insurance, right? You may need to trade Vassell. And look, if he is anything close to what he is, right, the guy is a bucket. Right? Say what you want about the guy. The guy is a bucket. I mean, that guy is very skilled, very crafty. He's getting to his spots. He's hitting shots. He's hitting tough shots. I mean, he was hitting some huge, like in that Lakers game, for example, right? He was hitting some huge shots down the stretch. Quieting the crowd. I love it. Because, I mean, the guy's been balling out, right? Like, so, again, if he can, 3 games in summer league it's not the same thing as like, again, playing throughout the course of Las Vegas and those 7 games that they play. And then also in training camp, stuff like that, maybe get him a look in preseason. They kind of start to slowly scale it. I don't necessarily think you have to necessarily bring him in and sign him onto the main roster right now. But it's like, who else are you going to bring? Now, they did sign Jordan McLaughlin, but still, like, you still have some spots. You still probably need a guy or two. Like, bring in David Jones Garcia and kind of see what he could do for you. See what he can bring to this team. Right? Like, you don't have to, you're not signing him to some crazy deal. Right? Like, the things that I've talked about as far as like what I want to see with the remaining spots, right, is one of 2 routes. I either want to see them go the veteran route and get guys that can come in, kind of be those mentors, be the guys that can come in and play a role in spots, but are kind of more there to help kind of grow the young core and foundation, right? Okay, cool. Or you go the youthful route and you go get a guy like, I've made an argument for like Amani Bates, 6'9", versatile, probably slot in 2 through 4 for you, shoots the 3 ball well and can defend, hyper athletic, was looked at as, a top pick in his draft until he kind of had some off-court issues and some injuries and stuff that basically had him fall, right? Can you take a chance on an upside guy like that? David Jones Garcia is another guy that you could easily put in that same category, that you're watching the display and what he can do for you, right? And if that can translate to the NBA level, I mean, he's looking every bit of a gem that you could imagine, right? Strike while the iron is hot, right? Like, go sign him if you can bring him in on a cheap deal long-term, do it, right? Because if you don't, somebody else is going to, right? So again, I'm not saying that they have to necessarily go rush and sign him to a main roster spot. You could, if you wanted to, go bring him in on a 2-way, right? So at least you have control over him, right? Like, he can't just go sign with another team or that. Now you lose him. It's like, oh man, he would have been really good. But if he continues to perform the way that we've been watching him perform into summer league and stuff, like, watch out, man. This dude could end up being a player for the Spurs. He could end up being a piece that really, like, we look back and go, man, remember that summer that, that Jones Garcia ended up being a real standout, and then the Spurs signed him, and now he's, one of the 3 best players on the Spurs, right? Like, again, he's 23. He's young. A lot of growth, a lot of upside, a lot of potential. If he was like 26, 27, it'd probably feel a little different. But he's young enough to where you can kind of grow him and kind of develop him under the Spurs banner for the next, handful of years and end up being a kind of core foundation piece for this team. But anyways, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Also, not, because we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.